If you operate a warehouse, office, church, or manufacturing facility in Dayton, you know exactly how much capital drains out of your budget every single month to cover recurring energy costs. This diagram maps out the two distinct directions that money can go. On the left, money paid to the utility is a sunk cost with zero return. On the right, that same money reinvested into a solar asset builds equity and rate predictability over decades. That makes commercial solar a capital planning decision. It ties directly to your operating costs and property valuation. But a proposal that looks highly profitable on a spreadsheet will fail in reality if the system's output doesn't match the specific physical and operational traits of your facility. Return on investment collapses under three specific conditions: mismatched load profiles, deteriorating roof structures, and misunderstood tax liabilities. Before you spend a single dime on equipment, you have to evaluate the hard mathematical reality of your specific building type. We start with the core operational input. Solar panels generate maximum power during the middle of the day. This introduces your load profile. To actually capture and immediately use those financial savings, your business must have high daytime operations. Businesses operating almost exclusively in the evening miss this generation window completely, resulting in vastly diminished returns. Then there is the physical trade-off. Mounting a heavy, long-lasting solar array requires a commercial roof with at least 15 years of structural life remaining. Installing solar on an old roof carries a severe financial penalty. When that roof fails, you have to pay to completely remove the panels, replace the roof, and reinstall the entire system. Generating power when it cannot be used immediately reduces the system's efficiency, as utility credits for exported energy are typically lower than the cost of avoided electricity. This makes simultaneous daytime consumption and roof integrity the primary drivers of value. Nowhere is that physical scale more obvious than a modern commercial warehouse, with its massive, unbroken flat roof space stretching out across the property. Looking at this comparison matrix, that immense square footage translates directly into huge solar generation potential. But here is the primary trap. This generation potential is completely wasted if the building operates with low daytime energy usage. Profitable warehouse solar requires active internal operations to consume the power, such as heavy refrigeration units, continuous ventilation systems, or forklift charging stations. A massive roof does not guarantee massive financial returns unless your internal operations actively consume that daytime power. Office buildings offer a distinct operational advantage. They have highly predictable, heavy electricity loads from air conditioning and computer networks during standard business hours. When we update this matrix for the office sector, you can see how that usage perfectly aligns with peak solar production hours. However, the hitting risk shifts from operational to legal, multi-tenant leasing. When tenants pay their own utility bills, it creates a complex metering hurdle. You have to determine exactly who receives the financial benefit of the solar savings. Calculating ROI for an office isn't strictly a technical challenge. It requires coordinating the lease language and billing systems to match the project's ownership structure before the first panel is installed. Churches and nonprofits prioritize long-term budget stability, making them highly motivated property owners. But as this matrix shows, their tax-exempt status presents a primary financial hurdle. Standard business tax credits do not apply in the traditional way. These organizations require specialized accounting guidance to access specific nonprofit incentive pathways, which significantly lengthens the planning phase. They also face a strict operational trap. A church whose primary energy use spikes on the weekend misaligns with weekday solar generation peaks. A church's solar ROI relies entirely on establishing secondary weekday operations, like schools or daycares, combined with expert tax navigation. When you step inside a modern manufacturing facility, heavy, continuous machinery churns relentlessly throughout the peak daytime operating hours. This energy-intensive machinery creates a massive, immediate sink for daytime solar power, maximizing the direct use of the system. But manufacturers face complex utility bills dominated by demand charges, severe financial penalties caused by sudden, massive spikes in power use. This graph illustrates the problem. Standard solar produces a steady curve, but fails to lower sudden, sharp machinery spikes, leaving the demand penalty untouched. To fix this, manufacturers add battery storage to absorb and mitigate those specific power spikes. Manufacturing ROI demands highly precise system sizing, often requiring storage, to defeat the true enemy of industrial power costs, peak demand penalties. The ultimate rule of commercial solar is simple: bigger is not always better. The most profitable system is sized strictly to your financial goals and specific utility rate structures, not the maximum physical capacity of the roof. This checklist defines the perfect fit: long-term owners with heavy daytime electrical loads, new roofs, and clear tax strategies. Proceed with caution if you have a short-term lease, an imminent roof replacement, or unmitigated evening demand spikes without battery storage. A strong, profitable commercial solar project begins purely with hard data and exact numbers. Never assumptions. Contact Solar Panels Dayton to schedule a professional, data-driven commercial solar assessment. Find out definitively, using your own utility data, whether solar makes practical financial sense for your specific property, budget, and long-term business goals.